Today it's Boxing Day right now, so we had to leave like I think like 5 a.m. or like 5:30. Next thing, this was literally it. It was like, okay, I'll be approving your visa. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you for stopping by if it's your first time, and thank you for always tuning in if you're always coming here. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're all doing great. So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about about my student visa interview experience. And so basically what I'm gonna do is, because this video is gonna be pretty long, it's gonna be a chit chat basically. I've got my wine here, I've got my wine, non-alcoholic wine. And then I've got like some cookies just to kind of keep me going, and some candy and all that stuff. I'm gonna pour me my wine. Ooh, this smells so good. It's really nice. I mean, it's not really wine, but a girl calls it wine anyway. So yeah, feel good today. It's Boxing Day right now that I'm filming this video. So I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas, and I hope that the rest of your week or year would go well. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to pull up my notes.
A few moments later.
My visa interview experience. So first of all, you know how like after getting accepted into the school that you applied to, which for me was Berea College, you get your I-20 and you get all the information that they sent you that's gonna help you with your visa application. And yeah, so basically I got all of those things. I paid my service fee, I paid my visa fee and all that stuff. You get your appointment date, which for me was the 7th of July, I think, thereabout, in 2018. My appointment was really early in the morning. It was literally 7 a.m. Thankfully, I live close to the embassy. Like, I don't live too far from the embassy. But then we always had traffic, we always had traffic, and Lagos traffic is crazy. So we had to leave like, I think like 5 a.m. or like 5:30. And the embassy normally is like less than 30 minutes from my house. It's about like 20 minutes from my house. But because of traffic, we have to leave really early. Okay, so I went with my mom, and we went there in the morning. And when we got there, like, you wouldn't even think that it was that early when you got to the embassy, because there was a lot of people there, and people who had appointments that early, and people who also had later appointments. So I queued up, they checked the documents and check everything that you're coming in with. I don't really remember specific details, but like you have to do your biometrics and all that stuff. You get inside and they just make sure they check everything. And so when you're going, like, the tension might start to build up already. For me, it was building up. I was very anxious and nervous. But one thing that really helped me during that time was, and this is something that other people might consider doing, but I really believed in grounding myself in my environment. So basically what I did was, when I was starting to get really nervous, I would look around me, I would look at the colors, I would say what color is the wall, I would say count 1 to 10, basically grounding exercises to bring you back to reality, that hey, this is gonna be okay, this is real life. Like, you don't have to get tensed and scared, because when you get inside, you're going to see people getting interviewed, and you're going to see people getting accepted, you're going to see people getting rejected right in front of you. So however that influences you is up to you, because you can't do anything about it in terms of people are getting rejected right there. So it can affect your confidence and affect how you respond when it's your turn. So basically I went in, and then I was there waiting for my turn, and there were different kinds of people and everything like that. So guys, I don't know, this is not really part of it, but I feel like I needed to tell you about this, because I feel like it's very important to be positive in situations like that. Because see, there was you see different people that are interviewing people, right? There's like up to 8 or 7, I can't remember, windows where people are getting interviewed. There was this one lady right over there, and I was just observing all of them, and then there was this one guy over at the end. And when I observed that lady, I was scared of her. I was like, God, please, I don't want this woman to interview me, because she seemed like, you know, very stern and made me nervous already, even though I wasn't the one she was interviewing. And then I was like, oh God, please, I don't want her. And I observed the other guy at the end. He was so calm. He had a cup of coffee. He was relaxed. And I think that that was really something that I wanted, because I wanted to be with someone that would be relaxing, so that it would help me relax and help me talk naturally as if I'm having a conversation. Because to be honest, every interviewer is different. So some of them are going to talk to you as if they're having a conversation, while some of them are going to be like, hey, this is an interview and stuff like that. So remember though, that even though it sounds like you're having a conversation, you have to also remember that this is somebody that is going to make or break your situation. So you also have to be serious about it. They were almost directing me to the person that I did not like. Very crazy stuff that happened. The guy, because there would be people that would direct you and be like, oh, you go here, you go here. So the guy that was directing people to the queue, to the windows, he already directed me towards that woman or towards somebody else that I didn't want to be interviewed by. And I was already like, oh my gosh. And then this other family that was directed to the guy that I wanted to interview me. These people were already at that window. I was already approaching the other window. Next thing, the guy that was directing us was like, oh no, you go over there and let them come over here, because you know they're like a family. And I don't even understand what he was saying. I was just like, hey, thank God. I was so happy. Like, so they moved me over to the other guy that I wanted to interview me, and I felt pissed so much. Like, I felt so happy. So basically, fast forward, I went there. I went in front of him. I said hello to him. I said good morning, and then he was like good morning, and he smiled at me. So he was you know, nice. He was really cool. So and this is it, you have to go with your documents. So he asked for my passport, and then when he asked for my I-20, I also gave it to him. And then the first question that he actually asked me was, what are you going to study? I told him that I was going for my pre-veterinary studies at Berea College. He was like, what is this program about? And so I explained to him that, you know, it was a program that would help me fulfill the requirements for vet school, and that it was a full 4-year program, but it would help me fulfill the requirements for vet school, both like theoretical, practical, and everything like that. So he was like, okay. And then he asked me why I was interested in that field of study. And so basically I explained to him, you know, my dreams, how ever since I was a kid I've always loved animals. I've always wanted to take care of animals, and that so now this is it. I started to kind of talk about Nigeria, because I didn't want it to seem like, oh, I'm just trying to leave Nigeria and never come back again. So I also made a lot of reference to Nigeria. You know, you gotta make your home ties. So I was like, because I've always loved animals, but then like growing up in Nigeria, like it's not really a major part of the like culture where people really care about pets and just animals in general, and that I feel like that needs to be different. And so I believe that if I go to America to study at Berea College, I'll be equipped with like a lot of information and ideas and opportunities to know better, and then like come back home to you know, to just, I guess, spread awareness, and just also work with like NGOs, and then make the veterinary field better, because not everybody is going to think about studying abroad. Some people just want to stay in Nigeria. So it's like, you got to make it better at home as well. So basically, you know, I talked about all that, but it was very quick. I wasn't all over the place the way I'm talking right now. It was very summarized and concise. And so I explained to him, and he was like, you know, he was nodding his head as I was speaking. He just seemed interested in what I was talking about, and that's a very positive thing. You gotta read body language, so you gotta know how the person's responding to what you're saying. I just wanted to chip this in. My interview was really short. It was quick. Like, the guy wasn't, you know, trying to drill me. He just really wanted to go straight to the point, because there's the ones that try to drill you. So yeah, and so I was like, yeah, you know, I was feeling good about myself. And then next thing, he was like, did you take any tests? And then I told him, I was like, I took the IELTS. And he was like, okay. Then he asked me, when did I graduate from high school? And then I told him when I graduated 2013, and I was going to college in 2018. That was a long time. And I was expecting that they were going to ask me that question, because obviously that's something they would want to know. Why are you just going to college at this time? So I explained to him like my personal story. Basically, I'm just going to go a little bit into it. I just explained how my dad passed away, and it kind of made things a little difficult for us, and I couldn't go to the college that I wanted to go to when I wanted to go to. I couldn't apply just right after that, and you know, you get the idea. You know, we basically had difficulties, and so I explained all of that to him. I already explained all of this in my DS-160 form, which is like the visa application form. Usually they have the form pulled up on their end, so when you're saying all these things, they're looking and making sure that they tally together. So I made sure that I was saying the same thing that I wrote down, because you gotta be sure what you're talking about. And also, he was really nice. When I told him that my dad passed away, he was like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I was like, thank you. So yeah, then I told him what I'd been doing during that time. I told him how I did a pre-college program, like a foundation in zoology. I also told him that I went to fashion school. I also told him that I learned French. I kind of learned, you know, I did a French program for a while. So I told him about all of that, and I told him also how I gained experience in veterinary medicine, you know, by volunteering and just working with like my dog's vets. You know, basically I talked about all of that, but it was very concise. Like I'm saying, I wasn't all over the place like this. It was very concise. And then he was like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. Next thing, this was literally it. After explaining this to him, he was like, okay, I'll be approving your visa. Guys, this was like 2 questions or 3 questions. He didn't grill me at all. Like, it felt like he already kind of was positive about me before I came there. So it was very quick. Immediately he told me that he approved my visa. I didn't even hear anything he said again. I didn't even see what he gave me, whether, you know, he gave me my paper or whatever. I didn't know. I was just like, my head just went blank. I was so happy. I was so excited. It was like, go to this place of so day, blah, 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 and receive your passport. I wasn't hearing anything. I was out of there. So I left out, and immediately walking out, people asking you, did you get it? Did you get it? I was like, yeah. And then they're like congratulating you. Guys, it's an amazing feeling. I tell you, because of the way, you guys know, especially if you're from Nigeria or if you're from Africa, you know, the way we have to, you know, deal with stuff to get visas. It's like you're winning a lottery. Like, it doesn't really matter even if you're qualified. It's really a hit or miss sometimes. So it's a big deal when you get your visa. Like, people are so happy for you. And so when I got out, my mom was there, and then she was like, did you get it? Did you get it? And I was like, yeah. And then she was so happy, and you know, everybody was so happy. And so we were going home, and then I started looking at the documents that he actually gave me, and I noticed the things. I noticed the slip that actually you have to take with you to the visa collection center to collect your passport. I didn't notice all of these things when he gave me. I was blank, okay? So I started going through all of it. I noticed that he gave me my I-20 bag. I didn't even know before. I thought that he took everything, and I was just so happy, and it just felt like a dream, because this was something that I'd always wanted for my life. Like, this is something I've always wanted for a long time. So yeah, that was my experience. And then, like, you know, when it was time for the visa collection, I can't remember the day. I think it was maybe a week later. I don't remember, you know. I can't remember how long after they told me to come back for it. So I went to the passport collection center, and so I went there. I got my passport, and my visa was in there. You know, it was a 2-year visa, because they only give 2-year visas, I think, generally to Nigerians for student visas. So but yeah, it doesn't really matter if it expires when you're in the States. So anyways, by mid-July, I was already all done and ready to go to America, like, just like that. So pretty much, you know, that was it, guys. That was it.